back to my channel. My name is Bettina Ray. I'm a yoga teacher. I specialize in yoga for fertility and pregnancy, birth and early motherhood. If you are brand new here, I would love if you would subscribe so that you get notified when I publish a new video. Today's video is just going to be 5 yoga poses that you can do during the 2-week wait. I get lots of questions about what yoga you can do during this time. I know how stressful the 2-week wait is. Am I pregnant? Am I not pregnant? Should I move? Should I not move? It's a really stressful time and it can be hard to know what the right thing is to do. Before I get into the 5 yoga poses today though, I will link above a little video that will go through all of the things that you need to know about practicing yoga during the 2-week wait. So really going into what sort of yoga you should be doing. Check that one out if you're feeling a little bit apprehensive about doing any yoga during this time. And also if you are looking for a full-length yoga class for the 2-week wait, a 4-pack fertility yoga series that goes into yoga for the 4 different stages of the cycle. So you'll get yoga for during your period, you'll get yoga for the 2-week wait, yoga during ovulation and also pre-ovulation. So classes will show you how to work with the body during these times and how to change your practice to make sure you are optimizing your fertility. Before we get into the 5 yoga poses though, just really quickly, some things you should know about practicing yoga during the 2-week wait. I think it's really important not to stop moving, not to be afraid to move your body, because then you kind of get trapped in this really stressed out state. Movement can be a really great thing to help move that stress along. So if you're feeling really stressed about whether you're pregnant, whether you're not pregnant, moving in a really gentle and loving way is going to be the best thing that you can do. So our focus during the 2-week wait is really on de-stressing the body. When we're stressed, we put our body into high alert. It thinks we need to run or fight or freeze, just like we would have done if we were in survival mode back in caveman days. And what the body does is it sends the blood and the energy away from those non-essential systems. And the reproductive system is considered non-essential. You don't need it for survival in the moment. Your arms and your legs are going to get that blood and energy, but your reproductive system is going to miss out. So we want to keep the body nice and stress-free so that the reproductive system is getting all that it needs and it's still getting all that energy it needs to create a baby. If you want to know a little bit more about stress and how it affects your fertility, I'll link a video above for that one as well. All right, so without me going on any more, because you can go watch those other videos that go a little bit more in depth into how to practice during the 2-week wait, let's get into the 5 yoga poses for fertility that you can do during the 2-week wait. All right, so the first pose that we're going to do is just taking the legs up the wall. It's a really restorative pose. It helps to calm the body down. It's really grounding as well. And it's really great to do at the end of the day, especially if you spend a lot of time on your legs, because it's kind of flipping the flow of energy and blood in the opposite direction. So the easiest way to do it is to just come up against a wall. And you want to come so that your hip is right up on the wall so that when you flip your legs up, your bottom is right against the wall. Just allow that low back to press into the floor. If you want, you can take the arms above, but I really encourage during the 2-week wait, you bring the hands to the belly. We start practicing some visualization and some deep breathing here. So breathing into that belly, filling it full, and slowly exhaling. And again, breathing in deep, and slowly exhaling. And I want you to imagine in your belly the tiny flicker of life starting to grow. So you might imagine the fertilized egg starting to implant into the wall of your womb. You might imagine the womb as a healthy, beautiful, inviting space. You might just imagine a warm glow coming from your belly, so feeling that energy changing there. Whatever it is that you want to imagine, this can be a really beautiful pose to just ground, to focus, to really breathe into that belly and start visualizing what it is that you want to create during this 2-week wait. All right, to get out of this pose, just draw the knees in. You might need to give yourself a moment here and then gently roll to the side and come on. All right, so the second yoga pose that I recommend doing is a really gentle sun salutation. Now I'm kind of cheating here because it's more like a flow. It's not really one single pose. But the reason I recommend a sun salutation is because it can be really quite flowing. It can help you get movement to breath. And I really find it helps me de-stress. If I do 4 or 5 of these really slowly and really gently, I can get out of my head, that place that stress lives, into my body and start to relax. So I'm just going to take you through a really gentle, modified sun salutation. That is, of course, perfect to do if you were pregnant, so you don't need to worry that you're going to be doing anything wrong or reducing your chances of falling pregnant. This is perfectly safe to do during that 2-week wait. So just come to the front of your mat, bring the feet underneath the hips, inhale the arms up to the sky, really stretching up tall, lengthening the body out. Exhale, forward folding down, bend into those knees. So the feet are underneath the hips, so you've got a little bit of space for the belly if you're feeling a touch bloated. Just gently rock the head and neck from side to side. As you inhale, bring the hands onto the hips, lengthen out through the spine and lengthen out through those legs. You should be getting a really beautiful stretch down these hamstrings. And then exhale to fold. Plant the hands down, step the feet back and take the knees down to the mat. Lengthen out through the chest so the back is nice and long. And then exhale, bring the chest down towards the floor. Inhale, gently press it back up, and then exhale all the way back to your child's pose. So take the knees as wide as the edges of the mat now. Rest the hands down, rest the forehead down. As you inhale, come back up. Bring the knees back underneath the hips. Tuck the toes under. Come all the way back to down dog and just pedal it out. And then slowly walk the feet back up to meet the hands. Find the hands onto the elbows and just let the upper body sway. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. And then inhale, rise the arms all the way back up, reaching up tall, and exhale, hands through heart. So with this one, I recommend just doing 4 or 5 of those in a row, really forgetting about doing it perfectly, just focusing on the breath to movement. Inhale up, exhale down, and really just flowing with the length of your breath. See if you can lengthen each one out, taking it as slow as you need, so that you can really get out of your head. Stop thinking about it and get into the body. If you struggle to remember what to do, you can always check out the blog post that goes along with this video. I'll have a little printout for you so that you can see those yoga poses and just have a really quick guide of what you need to do. So the third pose that I'd like you to practice during the 2-week wait is a gentle pigeon pose. So if you have a bolster, that can be really helpful during this practice just to support the body a little bit. If you don't have a bolster, you can just use some cushions or blankets rolled up. And now all we do is bring one knee forward, so bring it behind the wrist. Tuck the foot into the groin so that when you stretch the other leg out, it's kind of sitting in here into the groin. And you'll notice that the hips are really open here. So you may struggle to do this if your hips are quite tight. So if you sit in a chair all day, you might be up quite high. And in that case, you're going to bring that bolster. So it's kind of supporting you to stay upright and not to open too much. If you can though, and you don't need that bolster underneath, you can open a little bit more. You could even lengthen the back, creating some length through that spine. And you could soften down into the restorative version, where you're really using the weight of the body to open those hips. So I would just stay here for about 5 breaths. So while you're here, I really want you to just focus on softening through the head, the neck, the face, letting the entire body just really rest down into the floor, letting the floor support you. Remember, our focus during this time is really allowing our nervous system just to calm down. So lots of deep breaths into that belly and gently releasing out slowly on the exhale. And then to get out of this pose, just simply bring the hands back up. Bring that back knee in so that you can support the knees to come back in. So obviously you would repeat on the opposite side. So the fourth pose that I recommend practicing during the 2-week wait is a lying butterfly pose. So again, if you have a bolster, this is a great time to bring the bolster into play. If you don't, of course, a stack of cushions, a rolled up blanket, pillows off the bed would work as well. So it's just to allow the chest to open. We want to really encourage an open heart, opening to possibilities during this time. And physically creating that with the body is a really nice way to encourage our mind and our emotions to follow. Also, we're going to bring the feet together, which is opening the hips up, allowing for all blood and energy to flow freely through this area, which is of course what you want to happen when you're trying to conceive a baby. So just bringing the low back onto that bolster, allowing the arms to fall out to the side, open up the shoulders. And again, the knees can rest down to the side. You may need to put cushions underneath if you're quite tight, otherwise they can fall open. You might want to bring the hands to the belly again, just gently breathing into that belly. Again, you could come back to that visualization, imagining the life that you're trying to create here. And you can stay here for as long as you like. So at least, I would say 5 to 10 breaths, but the longer you stay, the more benefits you're going to get. You're going to really find the body starts to settle in, starts to relax, and really get that benefit of calming the nervous system down. To come out, bring the hands underneath the legs, support the knees up, and then bring the hands behind you. So we're not doing any hard sort of crunching action on the belly, because remember, we're assuming we're pregnant, pressing in and coming back up to have a seat. So the fifth and final pose that I recommend during the 2-week wait is of course Shavasana. This is our final resting pose that we usually do at the end of yoga classes. And it couldn't be simpler because it's literally just lying down on your back. If you have a bolster, again, you may like to bring that under the legs. I really like that for my low back. It just supports the low back. So using the hands to bring yourself down, allowing the shoulders to soften in, let the knees fall out, let the palms turn up. This is an act of being open to receiving what life has to offer. So we're not closed and tight, we're really open. Let the shoulders soften. And from here, you can just do a general body scan. So just scanning the body from the top of your head. So maybe just mentally saying the parts of your body to yourself. So crown of the head, forehead, cheeks, jaw. If you don't want to do this by yourself, you could of course play a guided meditation at this time. That can be really helpful. There are lots of meditation apps out there, or you can find one in my online yoga circle that's specific for you and the stage that you're at. All right, so to get out of this one, I would just bring the knees in towards the chest and then gently roll onto your side and come on back up to have a seat. All right, so they're the 5 yoga poses that I recommend that you do for your fertility during the 2-week wait. Remember, our focus at this time is really on de-stressing. So don't get caught up too much in the details. Don't stress, I haven't done yoga today, I have done yoga today. It's not about perfection. It's really just about embracing that you are doing the best you can, believing that you are doing the best you can, and really trying to use your mind to calm yourself down, to trust that your baby is coming to you so that your body can follow. You can encourage your body to produce the good hormones that it needs to produce rather than stress hormones. And you can feel confident during the 2-week wait and still keep enjoying and living your life, not putting life on hold during these 2 weeks. So as for how often to practice, you could do these yoga poses every day if you like. There's no too much yoga. If you're feeling particularly stressed at any time during the day, maybe stop what you're doing and come onto the mat. Use the mat as a tool to really de-stress you. Use these poses as tools to really bring you back down and to get you back into the right frame of mind. I hope that you enjoyed this yoga practice. If you want more support on your fertility journey, you can check out my full 28-day online yoga course. So it has those 4 classes for the different stages of the cycle, but there's also a video per week that goes through different things that you can use to calm the body down, to stop stressing, and to actually enjoy the process to conceiving your baby, because it can be really easy to get caught up in doing everything perfectly and why isn't this working for me, that you just get yourself into this really anxious spiral and life stops being enjoyable. So if that's you, I know I was definitely there. You can check out my course. It's basically got everything I use to calm down and then to conceive our little boy Luca, who is currently 6 weeks old at the time that I'm filming this. All right, that's it from me today. Best of luck on your journey. Feel free to reach out via email or on socials. Make sure you hit subscribe if you haven't already.